technology change what we think is good journalism? I don't think so. Technology changes the way journalists do their job. You know, when the telephone came up in the late 19th century, journalists started using the telephone. That changed their job, of course. Or when television came up, it changed their job, because in the newsrooms of newspapers, you would have a television set running that was showing what was going on in the world. And sometimes newspaper journalists would cover these things. If there was a live reporting from somewhere else, they just took it from the broadcast. And now we have Facebook and we have Twitter and we have millions of websites. And that changes again the way journalists do their job. They follow politicians on Twitter and their tweets, or they are followers of friends with politicians on Facebook, or with other journalists on Facebook, and they use that as an evidence. It's a new raw material, and that new raw material can make their job better because they have more evidence than they had before. But it doesn't change the identity of the profession. It doesn't change its basic role. It just changes the tools. And you know, like in medicine, and very often I think these parallels apply. The job of a doctor is today very different than it was 50 years ago. We have tele-surgery, you know, where the professors show how they do surgery in one place and it's transmitted to somewhere else in the world so that others can learn it, or an expert gives advice in a surgery in Sao Paulo, but this expert sits in Frankfurt. And so this changes the profession of medicine, but the basis is the same. The identity of the profession, its primary goal is the same, and the values that drive it are the same. Therefore, I would be reluctant to say that technology has changed journalism. On the contrary, I would say the new technology is urging us, and has already urged us, to think about the identity of journalism, to think about what is professional journalism about, and what makes it different from other activities that also exist in a legitimate way, of course, but are different because they are not done in the same framework and with the same function and with the same interest as professional journalism. And I think that over the last 20 years, since the advent of the internet, we have been too loose, and even journalists themselves have been too loose in in praising everything. They said, "Oh, bloggers, great! We are also bloggers, and we are on Facebook." And then people, of course, the audience, originally called the audience, today the prosumers or whatever, they lost the orientation. They said, "Well, if blogs are journalism, why should I pay for professional journalism if it's all of the same?" Now, over the last 5 years, media are trying to, as we say, turn the wheel back again. Now they say, well, you have to pay. New York Times is trying it. If that's still possible, after you have given away, after you have ran down the walls between professional news media and all the rest of communication activities by embracing everything, whether it is possible to raise the walls again, I'm not so sure. That was a mistake, I think, and I think that the media and professional journalism is paying a high price now, because a lot of the particular younger generation is losing this radar system of what is professional journalism and why is it different, and why is it maybe worthwhile paying for these products, because, as you and I know, because we think that the product is better. It's a different product. Therefore, I have to pay for it. And anything that you get for free usually isn't worth very much. But if you pay for it, then you know why. And that's where we have to get again.